this is Ahmad Junaid Salik. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. Today I'm going to tell you about the sponsorship categories for Canadian nationals, Canadian citizens or permanent residents. Canadian citizens and permanent residents can sponsor certain kind of relatives, certain categories of relatives for the permanent residents of Canada. There is often a lot of confusion about these categories. In principle, as per the Canadian immigration laws, there are 7 categories of people who can be sponsored for Canadian permanent residence by a Canadian citizen or a Canadian permanent resident. The first category of this list is the spouse of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, either spouse, common law partner, or conjugal partner. So, in a separate vlog, I will explain you about this category of the spouses, common law, or conjugal partners. But this is the first major category who can be sponsored by the Canadians for permanent residents of Canada. Then the second category is the dependent children of a Canadian permanent resident or a citizen. The age for the dependent children is under 22. On the day of sponsorship application, the applicant must be under 22 years of age. This is the second category. Dependent children are the sponsors children from a previous relationship or the current relationship. Then again, it is a very complicated matter which we can discuss. If you have any situation like that, we can discuss it in person. The third category is your parents, the parents of a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. Parents could be your biological parents or your your one of your biological parent and his or her spouse. They both can be sponsored for the Canadian permanent residents as well as their dependent children. The fourth category is grandparents. Grandparents, like the parents of your parents or their partner, they can be sponsored for the Canadian permanent residents. Fifth category is for those people who are under 18 years of age and they are orphaned. And the third criteria is that they must be your blood relatives. So blood relative can be your brother, your sister who are orphaned under 18 years of age, or your nephews, niece and nephews who are orphaned and under 18 years of age. So such people, or your grandchildren. The third category of the third subcategory of this category is your grandchildren who are orphaned and under 18 years of age. So these three categories of the fifth category can be applied for permanent residents of Canada. Sixth category is adoption. You can adopt foreign nationals from abroad. And the seventh category is for people who are of any age, but for that particular category, the sponsor, there are certain requirements for the sponsor to qualify to sponsor a person for PR of any age. In the previous categories, we discussed about the age restrictions, which are 22 or 18. But here in the last category, there is no age restriction upon sponsorship. However, the restriction is now upon the sponsor. The sponsor, if the sponsor has no spouse, no children, no parent, no grandparent, no grandchildren, and no brother or sister, no siblings, if a sponsor is alone in Canada, or even the relative even outside of Canada, he or she has no blood relatives. In that scenario, the sponsor can sponsor a blood relative who of any age for the Canadian permanent residents. So these are the major categories of 7 major categories of sponsorship for Canada. Each category, again, as I told earlier, it's a bit complicated and tricky, for which if you are in any of these situations, you can contact us for clarification, and we will assess you according to the guidelines of the Canadian immigration laws and see if you qualify for such a category to apply for Canadian permanent residence under one of the such categories. I have huge experience in the sponsorship applications in my 9 years experience as a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. So feel free to contact me. You can see my contact details on the screen. Please feel free to email me or contact me on my cell phone or WhatsApp. I will be happy to assist you and assist you for the entire process, the end-to-end process of your sponsorship and Canadian permanent residence. Thank you very much. Goodbye.